Hello, and welcome back to my second podcast, Mortgage Fraud Crusader Warrior. Okay, I'm going to start right in. It all started with the thunderous collapse of Lehman Brothers, one of the oldest and most powerful investment banks on Wall Street. Lehman didn't just fall, it imploded, sending shockwaves through the global economy. On September 5th, 2008, the unimaginable happened. Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy with over $600 million in assets, making it the largest bankruptcy in the United States history. Panic swept through the financial world like wildfire. Banks froze lending, stock markets plummeted, and confidence evaporated overnight. The collapse triggered a domino effect threatening to bring down the entire United States financial system. And in a matter of days, Wall Street teetered on the edge of a total collapse. The crisis was so severe, so potentially catastrophic, that the federal government had no choice but to step in. Trillions of dollars were pumped into the economy. Emergency meetings were held behind closed doors. Bailouts were crafted to rescue giant institutions too big to fail. Still ahead, lurking just over the horizon, was a financial storm like unlike any other seen in generations. The stock market was poised for a catastrophic plunge. Investors didn't know it yet, but the Dow Jones Industrial Average, once soaring with confidence, was about to nosedive, and over the coming months, it would shed more than half its value, wiping out trillions in wealth and devastating retirement accounts, savings, and portfolios across the nation. Fear gripped Wall Street like a vice. Every day brought more red ink, more panic selling, more headlines screaming collapse. The air was thick with uncertainty. Financial giants began to fall like dominoes. Meanwhile, the debt markets, the very lifeblood of global finance, were on the brink of freezing solid. The banks, terrified of losing everything, stopped lending to each other and credit evaporated. Businesses couldn't get loans, consumers couldn't borrow, and the gears of the economy screeched to a halt. It was as if the entire financial system had suffered a heart attack, sudden, massive, and paralyzing. And the worst part, no one even knew or if it could be revived. It just wasn't a financial crisis. It was a moment that changed history. What my ex-wife pulled was wild, reckless, and downright evil. It was something called a NINA loan. That's short for no income, no assets. Sounds insane, right? Because it was. Back when the housing crisis was still masquerading as a booming bubble, this was actually an official loan product. You could walk into a mortgage broker's office and they give you options like, do you want a 30-year fixed rate, or how about a NINA loan, where we don't even bother checking if you don't have a job or own anything at all. Sounds like a scam, but it was totally legal. My ex-wife got very excited she could get a loan this way and forget all the paperwork. This was the opportunity she was hoping for, and that's exactly what my ex-wife did, all behind my back. She told the bank she was a school teacher making $35,000 a year on paper as a single woman, modest and stable, but then, without batting an eye and a smile on her face, the bank handed her a loan, a massive one. We're talking close to $300,000 based on nothing. No verified income, no verified assets, just a signature and a smile. Why? Because her family needed money to build a vacation house in Homer, Alaska, and she saw an opportunity. So she took out a loan against our house. She ended up taking out 10 loans based on her deed not our deed, that was destroyed. This started her to mortgage kite. It's a type of mortgage fraud that involves using multiple mortgage loan applications and closings on the same property, often within a short period, to obtain funds dishonestly. Typically, it includes inflating the value of the property or hiding existing liens. That multiple lenders issue loans on the same property without knowing about each other, so they handed her a loan, no questions asked, based on forged and photocopied documents. This was the madness of the housing bubble. Money flying everywhere, rules thrown out the window, and trust placed in thin air. And we are standing right in the middle of it. Here's how this so-called no income, no verification loan actually worked, because it still blows my mind to this day. I always wondered when they were building that vacation home, where the money was coming from. They didn't call her, they didn't verify anything, no one asked, how much money do you make? Not even once. It was just forged paperwork mailed in. It was as if the entire process was built on a handshake in a back alley. Picture this. You walk past a stranger on the street and say, "Hey, can I borrow $300,000? And instead of laughing in your face, they ask, "What do you do for a living?" You shrug and say, "I don't have a job." And somehow they say, "Cool, no problem. Here's the money." That's how absurd it was. My ex, she knew how to play the system, and she gathered the documents, most of them photocopied, others filled out by hand, and typed up fast in different typewriters, pages and pages. She faxed them, sent emails, submitted just enough to make it look like everything was legit. There were no W-2s, pay stubs, maybe real, maybe not, but no one was checking. Not really. The banks didn't really care. Everyone was high on the housing boom and desperate to close the next deal. The entire thing felt more like an improv act than a financial transaction. Yet at the end of it all, they handed her a loan worth thousands of dollars, secured by our home. No solid proof of income, no proof of assets, just forged signatures, photocopies, and blind faith in a system that was already cracking beneath the surface. My ex-wife and her family were hell-bent on getting that loan, no matter what the cost, no matter what the consequences. It was as if they were making a deal with the devil, and I believe they actually did. They just didn't want the money, they had to have it. They had to have that vacation house in Homer, Alaska. And when honesty won't open the door, they kicked it in with forged signatures and bald-faced lies. Paper trails were twisted, facts were taped, and documents were dressed up to look legit. What should have been a straightforward application turned into a masterclass in deception. They weren't just bending the rules, they were burning them. It wasn't just a loan, it was a ticking time bomb, and we were standing right on top of it. Well, that's it for part one of this, of the Lehman Brothers Fiasco. Stay tuned for the next chapter podcast that I'll have very shortly. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you. Please, if you like the broadcast, just, subscribe to my channel. I'd like that very, very much. And also, if you can send a donation to help my legal fund, I have it posted right there for you for you to be able to, send it through my Cash App. And also, if you want to be on my program eventually, you can email me at mortgagefraudcrusader@gmail.com. Well, you have a very nice day, and God bless. Thank you for listening.